Worms is a 2D artillery tactical video game developed by Team 17 and released in 1995. It is a turn-based game where a player controls a team of worms against other teams of worms that are controlled by a computer or human opponent. Worms Reinforcements is an add-on to Worms. It includes some modifications to the gameplay, such as the ability to choose the worm the player wants to use each turn, as well as additional levels and multiplayer support. Worms 2 was released in 1998. Players control their team of worms in combat against each other, using a wide collection of rockets, grenades, firearms, explosives, and airstrikes. Some eclectic and others bizarre. Worms Armageddon was released in 1999. The game takes place on a destructible and customizable two-dimensional board, and is characterized by cartoonish graphics and a unique brand of humor. Worms World Party was released in 2001. In addition to the nature-made obstacles, the maps may contain land mines which explode when a worm comes close to one, and barrels which explode when shot, spreading out some burning napalm. Worms Blast is a 2002 puzzle video game. The gameplay is similar to that of Puzzle Bobble, Bust a Move, but with several key differences. There is a hexagonal grid of colored blocks at the top of the screen while the player's character sits on a boat floating in water. Worms 3D is a 2003 3D artillery turn-based tactical video game. Developed by Team 17 additionally, it featured several new weapons, with some weapon operations being substantially different from previous Worms titles. Worms Forts Under Siege was released in 2004. Forts showcases new features, while the primary method of victory is to destroy the opposing team. Victory can also be achieved by destroying the opposing stronghold, the most important building in the game. Worms 4 Mayhem was released in 2005. New features include the ability to customize their worm's appearance, as well as create their own unique weapons in a new feature called the Weapon Factory.
How dearie me!
Worms Open Warfare was released in 2006. The player takes control of an army of worms. The goal of the game is to defeat the opposing army through reducing the health points of enemy worms using various types of weaponry while avoiding friendly fire. Worms Open Warfare 2 was released in 2007. The game is viewed from a side-scrolling perspective. The player takes control of a team of several worms and is pitted against other teams of worms under the control of AI or another human. Worms A Space Oddity was released in 2008. The game is set in space itself, with the usual arsenal of weapons being updated to suit. There are 6 themes included, namely Cavernia, Tentaclia, Frostal, Capuzzel, Mechanopolis, and Earth. Worms to Armageddon was released in 2009. Single-player campaign with 30 missions of progressing difficulty and 5 extra missions, which can be bought from the shop. 6 game styles are available for local multiplayer matches. Worms Reloaded was released in 2010 in the standard gameplay. The objective is to eliminate all enemy worms and be the last team standing. There is also a race mode where the objective is to reach the end point in less time. Worms Battle Islands was released in 2010. Multiplayer is available in Hot Seat mode and online. In Hot Seat mode, the player decides how many teams will fight on the landscape, as well as set the landscape on which to fight and define rules. Worms Ultimate Mayhem was released in 2011. The game is a re-release of Worms 4 Mayhem with improved graphics. It features all new content, story mode voice acting by Guy Harris, and other gameplay fixes such as reworked camera controls. Worms Crazy Golf was released in 2011. The goal is to put a ball from the starting point on the map to the hole. There are also coins to be collected on each map which can be used to purchase unlockables. Worms Revolution was released in 2012. The game is now presented in a 2.5D style with the classic 2D gameplay presented with 3D visuals. New to the game is a stronger emphasis on dynamic physics. Worms Clan Wars was released in 2013. Gameplay follows on the earlier games of the series, in which teams of worms take turns to use a variety of weapons and items. In order to eliminate the opposing teams, Worms Clan Wars has improved online gameplay. Worms Battlegrounds was released in 2014. The single-player story follows the player's worms attempt to retrieve the concrete donkey's stone carrot from Lord Darius Mesmer, a worm who is using it to try to take over the world. Worms 4 is a turn-based tactics video game. It was released for mobile devices in 2015. The game features a single-player campaign designed to gradually introduce game mechanics. Worms W.M.D. was released in 2016. A new feature includes the ability for the player to craft weapons by gathering parts from special crates or by disassembling weapons. New weapons and utilities are added, such as a dodgy phone battery and a bazooka. Worms Rumble is a 2020 action game developed by Team 17. Players assume control of anthropomorphic worms and compete against each other in modes including Deathmatch, Last Worm Standing, and Last Squad Standing.